Awesome. Hi,
Hi.
I'm Rachel. I'm doing an externship with Mobility International USA, and I'm with Shea, who's in the DC area. And then we're going to talk about traveling with an assistant, and not just for a study abroad, right?
Yes, thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to
Yeah.
talk about it.
Okay. First question, whatever you're comfortable with, just explain a little about your disability.
Sure, it's a form of muscular dystrophy called spinal muscular atrophy, and I fall into the type 2 range. It prevents me from walking. I use a motorized wheelchair, and it also weakens my other muscles.
Okay. So what places did you travel to, or where did you travel?
Personally, I've traveled to about a dozen different countries. But when I was studying abroad, I was in the Czech Republic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Eastern Europe.
Very cool. Did you do this through Mobility International?
No, I
Or
was a student at Northern Virginia Community College studying film, and it was their inaugural trip for the film students to a film academy over in the Czech Republic. And the Czech Republic is very renowned for film, animation, just cinema in general. So I was very excited to be, part of a group of kids from the community college just heading over there for the first time, and we got to make a short film with the Czech students over there. So it was very collaborative.
that's pretty cool.
Yes, I
I'm
was a
glad they did that.
director, dash screenwriter.
Oh,
My film was very difficult because it was a period piece, so everyone was in costume. Very challenging. Not a lot of my crew spoke Czech. I'm sorry, not a lot of my crew spoke English. They spoke Czech. But my assistant director translated, and it was a crazy, crazy time, crazy good time. Challenging for sure.
how long were you there?
I think it was like it was almost a month, almost the entire month of like June. So 4 weeks, I want to say.
Okay. And what did you do with the film when you were done?
When I was done, well, I mean, the film premiered at the Academy with just
Okay.
the other students, and it won the President's Award, which was very surprising and an honor.
Cool.
So that got high remarks. And now I'm interested in maybe submitting to a film festival or something. We'll see what happens next. But yeah, I was very honored to receive good reviews from the president there.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So when you studied or when you traveled with your assistant, how did you find them? Was it with like an agency or the college or
No, the college did not provide, assistance.
hmm,
That's something I hope maybe will change in the future for universities that have study abroad programs, that they have a little more resources built in for people who need help traveling. But what happened was my father came over with me for the first week to interview and find a caregiver. We had some people at the university in the Czech Republic give us some resources, some leads, you could say, but we didn't want to commit to anybody until we really worked with them in person. It's very difficult to hire someone in another country and just trust them entirely with your care without meeting them and teaching them. So my father was with me for a week working with the caregiver, teaching her. And he left, and then it was just me and the caregiver, but he wouldn't have left if he didn't feel confident in not only her skills as a caregiver, but her motivation. She was very motivated. She wanted to do a good job. She was very motherly. And so it was, I mean, she was a wonderful person. I still sent her Christmas cards. But yeah, it did take a little bit of training and a little bit of pre-planning, and a little bit of on-site planning.
oh yeah, totally. Like that'd probably be my biggest thing is somebody who you can tell when they want to do the work
Right.
instead of just being there doing the work.
Yes, motivation is everything.
Yeah, because you're very up close and personal with people like that.
Hmm, no doubt.
Um, Um, so you say a caregiver, so you're comfortable saying a caregiver because some people, I don't know if there's a language barrier or if it was like offensive to them to hear caregiver.
Because
So
she spoke another language, you mean?
well, yeah, and some people just feel like being called a caregiver. It's like, well, this is what I do. This is what I'm comfortable doing, and to call them a caregiver, it's like it's just a respect thing. I don't know. That's what I was used to.
It's always new things with words and what we supposed to say, we're not supposed to say. At the end of the day, I'm always like, just let me with my wife, like if you can help
Yeah,
me do this, and just I don't care what I call you. I don't care
yeah,
what you call me. Just get me out of bed and in my chair and we're good.
yeah.
Um I get it too. I see both sides. No, but the funny thing is that she actually did not speak any English.
Okay.
Imagine, it's difficult enough to have a relationship with a caregiver who speaks your own language. Now imagine
Hmm.
if they don't speak your language at all. It was very difficult, but we used Google Translate. We used a lot of body language, and doing so even without speaking any of each other's language. By the time I left the Czech Republic, she was in tears. Saying goodbye to me. I mean, we formed like a beautiful. I mean, she would shower me, for example, and they have the
Hmm.
shower heads, that you hose around and aim at people, and those showers were I'm the type of person that likes scorching hot showers. So they had it like lukewarm, and she'd be showering me and I would just be going burr, that's so good. I didn't know how to say cold, and she'd go, oh burr, and she would make it warmer. We had ways of communicating, and it was very quite beautiful to experience a relationship that didn't need words. Very, very moving.
Cool. Yeah. Um, so having an assistant, what things made your trip go really well with having the assistant there?
Um, I guess this not everyone will have this resource, but I had a lot of people with me that from the program, the film program, who I was comfortable with picking me up. So, if my caregiver could not be there or whatever, there was a bunch of people around who I was comfortable with carrying me. I was never comfortable with anybody doing any of the very intimate personal caregiving. That was always for the professional.
Okay.
But she had a little help from other people who I opened up the door to come in and help me with certain things. So, even my professor picked me up a couple of times. So I was very fortunate to have a larger net.
Oh yeah. Um, was there ever a time where something did not go well? Like full disaster or even slight disaster?
Yes, one time I woke up and she wasn't there.
Uh-oh.
And
Did you guys did you stay together in like the same room?
no, she had different rooms. I had a cell phone. I called her back and forth.
Okay.
But I woke up one day and she wasn't there, and I think I must have accidentally released her. And she might have tried to get me up, and I said, no, no, I want to keep sleeping, and I forgot about it. And she woke up and I was like, what am I going to do? But that's when I had that net come in to help.
Okay. Well, oh, that's good. Yeah.
Backups.
Um, so when you traveled, what places did you come across that were really easy or um like really easy to get to, really easy to just travel around, navigate that
In the
you
Czech Republic or just
yeah,
anywhere?
in the Czech Republic with your group.
Well, the campus was accessible mostly.
Hmm.
Um, Nothing was easy. Like you're asking what's easy. Nothing was easy.
Well, yeah.
Even like we had to get a handicap accessible van. Sure, that's easy physically, but it's like way more expensive than it had to be.
Oh yeah.
They always charge you a lot more than a regular car. So no, I wouldn't say anything was easy. Everything was doable, but nothing was easy. And that's kind of the way it is traveling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when I traveled on my study abroad, our bus broke down because the ramp wouldn't go back in or the so we had to wait for a new one. Like so with that, what places did you go that were like the hardest, do you think? And why?
We went to a little medieval town called Chesky Krumlov, which is very
Mhm.
touristy and beautiful, but very steep, very steep. I had four guys on either side of me pushing my chair up very steep hills, very bumpy, cobblestoney. Bumps are very difficult on the battery of your chair. Uh, Almost always I have to get my battery replaced after I come back from Europe because it's just blah 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 blah, and the battery.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
that. A whole bunch of the museums and shops were not accessible steps to get in. So the group had a tour at some museum that I couldn't get into, and one of the I don't know what his title was, but one of the people who worked at the film academy, his name was Daniel. Instead of having me go into museum, he just walked me around Chesky Krumlov. It's kind of like an alternative schedule. And I can see some people being annoyed at that, like, oh, I can't do what everyone else is wanting to do. But I gotta tell you, we probably had a better time than they did in the museum. So I was definitely not complaining, and Daniel was a great guy. So we went to the markets, we just walked around. Um, so that was definitely a challenging physical location, but again, had good outcomes if you have the right attitude, if you have the right, not everything is easy, everything is doable sort of mindset. Uh, Still a very positive day, even though it was a very challenging location.
Okay.
Czech Republic is like not the worst though. Like if you were asking me about all the places I've been to, I would have a lot of other stories to tell you. But Chesky Krumlov and Europe in general is kind of is what it is. Like there's always going to be old places, cobblestones. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
the most adventurous thing I've ever done. So
Okay. Yeah. I've been to like maybe 16 countries, but
I
yeah.
got to catch up to you.
Well, eh, uh, um, so besides your like language barrier, was there any sort of um conflict like with your assistant that you had, and how did you resolve it?
Um, Other than that time I woke up and she wasn't there. That was just that, yeah. And again, I don't know what happened there. I don't blame her. I don't. There's no situation where I think she would have left me just because she, you know, neglected her job. I think I was just being a bum and I didn't want to wake up, and I told her, oh, 5 more minutes or whatever. She didn't understand that and left. So that was difficult and required me to accept help in some areas I maybe wouldn't have, in normal circumstances. Um, you know, but you do what you got to do. Um, any other conflicts with her? No, I mean we never had any personal conflicts. We loved each other. She was a lovely person. I had to when we were shot when we would shower, not every day, maybe like once a week, honestly, and then we would do towel bathing otherwise because showers were more strenuous. She obviously couldn't carry me herself. Um, and my crew didn't come to like the shower area. And the showers were not expensive, were not accessible in the building. So we had to go to some place. We had to go to like I think it was some kind of like spa or like health center that allowed us to use their shower that was wide and easy to access. And there was this guy there who worked with her. He was maybe in his maybe 40s, 40-year-old man. And he would be the one who would do the carrying of me into the shower chair, back to the bed to get dressed, then to the wheelchair. And I remember there were some times where they were like, "Are you okay with this? Because you're gonna be naked. You're like, he's a guy." Um, and I was like, I don't care at all. He seems like a wonderful person. So like, that just it wasn't on my mind at all. I didn't. I've never really been super um shy about that. And I guess I'm not describing conflicts. I'm describing conflicts avoided to you. Those were
Yeah.
conflicts avoided. If I were not open to having this 40-year-old guy see me with no clothes on to shower with my caregiver, might have been a lot more difficult, but
Yeah.
these are the real talks, guys. These are the real conversations.
Yeah.
So that's just me, just talking for myself.
No, that's nice that that worked out though.
Yeah.
Then there was an option. Yeah. That's cool. Um, so what did you have anything that surprised you with having your caregiver help you? Or anybody, really?
Um, Surprised me. I mean, it was very interesting to have to rapidly teach a bunch of people how to do things for you, pick you up and all. If I guess my professor carried me on several occasions. And I'm having to teach him, it's not really about lifting someone is not really about how strong you are, it's about how good your grip is. And he didn't believe me. He's like, oh, I bench press this and blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, you can bench press whatever you want, man, but you don't got a good grip. That's the problem. And so he's
Yeah.
carrying me down. There was a flight of stairs to get to the movie theater at this campus, and he's carrying me down. And he makes it, but I can feel that his hand is getting a little bit slippery on one of my knees. And he puts me down. He's like, man, you're right. Yeah, I got to give it to you. It was about the grip. So teaching a lot of people was surprising. And then of course, like I said, the relationship with my caregiver who spoke no English was also surprising. At the end of the 4 weeks, I went to a little local jewelry shop near the campus, and I bought her just this sterling silver bracelet that had a little angel on it. And I
Aw.
wrote her, on the Google Translate, and I said, I want you to have this because you're my angel and you've been my angel for this whole trip. And I mean, the tears, she just burst into tears and gave me a big hug. And so that was a surprise, just how close you can get to someone without having to say a word to them. It was a big, beautiful surprise.
Yeah, that is really sweet. That's good that you end up like knowing somebody that you can trust in a whole other country.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
Think I might have one more question because you kind of answered a lot of the other ones
Gotcha.
mixed in there. What would you like people to know about bringing an assistant and having an assistant?
Um, I mean, I kind of did both. I brought an assistant for the first week, my dad, and then
Mhm.
I acquired an assistant for the rest of the time at the location. So, I guess I could say like everything is just really, really personal to whatever works for the person. Some people might say like I would want to bring something from the US because I know them. Some people would say I can't afford to do that. I got to do it over there. But for me, that mixture really worked to have someone for a week that I knew, my dad, come and train someone and then keep them there and then he left. It ended up being a really good system for me. Like I said, I don't know if that works for everybody. I don't know if everyone has that luxury. But I was able to do that. Otherwise, I mean, I don't want to be liable to say, oh, trust them, trust people and another, and say, oh, Shay said trust them and it didn't work out. Well, you got to have good instinct and you got to be able to vet people and do the due diligence beforehand. But I will say, if you can plan it well enough, finding someone in the country is a pretty good option. If
Okay.
you're not able to bring, a full-time caregiver, finding care in the country is an option. Um, I don't know. I can't answer. It's a very hard question to answer because everyone is so different as what works for them. Um,
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have somebody that's local, so then they can like get that out of the way. Like you don't have to look for research something locally because they're like, oh, there's
oh,
stores there.
right. Having someone that that's there ahead of time,
Yeah.
yeah, they can scout it out. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. When I was in the Czech Republic, I even like I ordered ramps on Amazon and sent them to the campus beforehand
Oh,
for just any sort of occasion that I might need them. And then I
yeah.
actually just left them there because, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to. take them on the plane. But that's another option. You can, Amazon Prime yourself some equipment at the place instead of taking it on the plane. Bath chair, ramps, whatever else you use. If you have a few $100s in your budget for that kind of thing, you're gonna be there for a while. You could think about doing that. But some airlines do allow you to take equipment on without charge. So I don't know, just random thoughts, random ideas.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I've heard before of FedExing your baggage instead of checking out a plane, but
Interesting.
you got to call ahead and make sure they know it's coming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I don't think I asked, but what year was it that you went?
2018.
Okay. Oh, so right before COVID.
Yeah, I know. I snuck it in.
Cool. Awesome. I think my questions are covered. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
I will share that if anyone's listening who is working on advocating for wheelchairs rolling onto the plane, removing a seat. I know that Delta has a prototype right now, but I don't see any movement in actually installing them into planes. So I'm going to put my little plug in there. And since this is a disability community, that I think that is going to be the #1 game changer for people traveling with disability, and we need to put a lot of force behind that. But otherwise, I just encourage people of whatever varying disability, ability, whatever you have, get out there, do it, get traveling. You can travel as far as you're willing to take, risks and willing to be uncomfortable now and then. There's no such thing as traveling with full comfort, but you have to accept that that's it, that you want it more than you want full comfort. So make that choice, get out there, go have an adventure, and I hope to see you.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Shut this thing off for you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Bye.